Good afternoon. I am attorney Alexis Hart McDowell. I handle real estate and business formation matters here in Chicago. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in property, reach out to my law firm. You can find us at enterpriseesquire.com. Everybody is entitled to a free 15-minute consultation, and you can schedule that at your convenience on my website, enterpriseesquire.com. I also want to say that we do form businesses in all 50 states. So anyone who is looking to form their business for the new year or even later for this year, because 2020 is not lost, people are still making money in 2020. So don't miss out on your opportunity. Reach out to me so that we can get your business started before the end of the year, and then you're all set for 2020. Today, I am coming on to discuss deed transfers. This has been a very popular topic lately. Unfortunately, due to COVID, many people have lost family members, and they need to figure out how to effectively, legally, and in the most cost-effective way transfer title to the property that is in question. Okay, so I want to talk about deed transfers because it is a very cost-effective solution and it avoids probate. And what a lot of people don't understand is that when you have a will is going to send you to probate. You have to probate the will. In probate court, you may need to get a probate attorney, depending upon how complex the matter is, whether or not all of the siblings or children, heirs, agree with what's going on. And a lot of people simply can't afford that. They can't afford to take time off from work because you have to show up to court. They can't afford the legal fees, the court costs. It can be cost prohibitive depending upon the length of the matter. One way to avoid that is to use a deed transfer. All right, so let's talk about what is a deed transfer. First of all, a deed transfer is transferring the title of the property to someone else, or adding someone else to title to the property. For example, I may own my house by myself and perhaps I want to add my husband to it. We would do a deed transfer where I would grant, as the grantor, add myself and my husband. So then now both of us own the property. We could do a deed transfer that way. And just for clarification, a deed is a written and signed legal document that is used to transfer ownership of the property from the previous owner, also known as the grantor, to the new owner, which is known as the grantee. Now, I want to go through a few ways in which you may need to use a deed transfer. Now, as I just mentioned, one way is you may need to add someone to title. So, for example, as our parents get older, some of us are caring for older parents, and they may be suffering from medical conditions, whether it be Alzheimer's or dementia or a terminal health condition. And they may need to add someone to title so that if and when they pass, that property is just not up in the air for anybody or everybody. And sometimes everybody is worse than anybody because everybody is fighting. And by everybody, I mean the heirs is fighting over ownership of the property, right? And so you may want to add someone to the title while they're still alive so that if and when they pass, that title to the property goes to the person that they designate. Okay, so then there's no fighting, there's no probate, there's no arguing. Whoever is on title owns that piece of property upon their passing. Another way to use a deed transfer is transfer between family members. Sometimes as people get up in age, or even younger people, they just want to add someone to title as a safety and a security measure in case something does happen. Some people are veterans, or you just want to have that person on title, and that's the gift that you want to give them. And then you can avoid other transfer tax fees, probate fees when you have someone else on that title because it goes directly to them. And another way is you may want to transfer your property to a nonprofit. A lot of people, before they pass, want their church or a nonprofit that they've dedicated their life to, or that they really believe in what the programming and the mission, the value of the nonprofit is. They want to transfer the ownership of their property to the nonprofit upon their passing. And they can do that, but nonprofits have particular rules and regulations. So it's a discussion that you need to have with that church or that nonprofit beforehand, because you don't want to burden the nonprofit if your building or your property has a mortgage on it that the nonprofit is then going to have to pay upon your passing. That's more of a burden depending upon the type of building that it is and the amount of the mortgage. So you have to have a discussion with the nonprofit or church prior to doing that. It's not something that you can just immediately transfer, because they could deny the transfer of the property if it can be more of a burden than a blessing to them. So all the ways that I've given you so far is before someone dies. Now, after someone dies, if there's no will, then the heirs can transfer the property to themselves, or perhaps the heirs want to sell the property and they are able to do that and sell it to someone else without having to go to probate. And this is whether the person this is whether the person has already passed away, and they died intestate, meaning that they don't have a will. All right. So in cases that they don't have a will, this is a way that the heirs can transfer the property either to themselves or sell the property to a third party. Right. So that is the other way that you can use a deed transfer. And the most popular way is both one and the last one. So the first one being the person is still alive, they're just older in age, and they need to add someone to their title. So that is one of the most popular ways. And the second way is, unfortunately, that person has passed, and now the heirs need to decide what they're going to do with the property, whether they're going to keep it for themselves or they're going to go ahead and sell it to a third party. So those are the two most popular ways to use a deed transfer. Now, as I mentioned, in the past, when you did not have a deed transfer, you ended up in probate court. And unfortunately, communities of color were adversely affected by this due to court costs. You have to pay a bond. You have to pay legal fees if you're unable to do it yourself. You had to take time away from your job to go to court, to the court dates. And it got more complex from there if siblings or heirs were fighting over the property and proper ownership, or fighting over who exactly is an heir. Because property and money upon somebody's death, unfortunately, makes some people go kind of crazy. So that is what was happening in the past, that you had to go to probate. Currently, how you use a deed transfer is you fill out a deed, whether it's typically a quitclaim deed. It transfers ownership of the property, either adds someone else to the property or transfers the property wholly to somebody else. You need an affidavit of heirship. And let's talk about that for a minute. An affidavit of heirship is a statement, a notarized statement from either an heir or someone who knows the situation with the heirs, and states that these are the heirs. The person who died didn't have any children out of wedlock. They did not have any adopted children, or even if they did have children out of wedlock, that these are the children. It lists all of the children, all of the heirs. And then it also says, okay, did any of those heirs die? So for example, if you have a brother and a sister and the brother had 2 kids and the brother passed away, well, the proper heirs are the sister and the niece and nephew. So the brother's 2 children. Okay, that's the proper heir. So it's really determining that lineage, that heirship, and giving a statement of fact as to who are the proper heirs. And then that is notarized. It is sent along with the deed. You have to fill out a statement of grantor and grantee. And then you have to complete a MyDeck. Now, a MyDeck is the electronic form for the state, the county, and the city or municipality, depending upon which one you're in. Not all counties and not all municipalities participate, but the state of Illinois, Cook County, and the city of Chicago all participate in MyDeck. And it is a single electronic form that handles the transfer taxes for all 3 of those entities, the state, the county, and the city. All right. Now, typically in these situations, it is an exempt transfer, meaning that there won't be any transfer taxes on this type of transfer. Typically, it is a transfer of $500 or less or $100 or less. There is usually no money exchanged in these types of transfers, so then there's no taxes owed. And that is the current process to handle a deed transfer. So as you can see, just from those 4 steps, it is a much quicker, it is a more efficient, and is a more cost-effective way to transfer property as opposed to going to probate court. This has really enabled families, communities of color to keep the legacy going, hold on to property that they otherwise may not have been able to hold on to due to the cost prohibitive and time consuming nature of going to probate court, right? So if your family is in need of a deed transfer, reach out to me. I've helped with several deed transfers in many different situations. The situations just honestly run the gamut, from a mother who is currently suffering with dementia and the property needs to go ahead and be transferred to her sole daughter. You have people who are unfortunately suffering from a terminal illness and they want to add their children to the deed now so that later, or if there's any issues, they won't have to worry about this type of thing. But the point is to have the conversation. Your family needs to have the conversation, whether they're still living or if someone has passed away. A deed transfer can be an excellent way to reduce costs and reduce the amount of time that you have to spend on this particular matter. If you're in need of a deed transfer, reach out to me at enterpriseesquire.com. You can schedule a free 15-minute consultation at your convenience. Just go to my calendar, whatever time is open, you can book. You call at your appointment time, and I'm on the other end waiting to speak with you. So if I can be of assistance to you all in any way, please reach out. I understand that it is a very sensitive topic. Sometimes it can be very emotional. It can be very trying topic because it can bring out some things in families that not all families are proud of. And trust me, I have seen the gamut. I have seen families who are fighting. I have seen families that are very peaceful. So whatever your particular situation is, it's not lost on me, but allow me to help you navigate that for the best resolution for the family and the property owner, whatever it is their particular wishes are. Right. So enterpriseesquire.com. I am attorney Alexis Hart McDowell, practicing in the Chicagoland area. And again, if you need any real estate, buying, selling, or investing, reach out to me. And if you need that business formed, you want an LLC, a L3C, a C-corp, a S-corp, or even a 501c3 nonprofit, we can help you form those in all 50 states. I look forward to being of service to you all, and have a fabulous day.